Now, we are seeing, because of the Occupy protests, this push to really crank up World War III and get it going for real seems to be accelerating. And over the last couple of days, I've been getting all these articles posted at whatreallyhappened.com, most of which I've deleted, and a ton of email insisting that really Iran is just 5 seconds away from having an atomic bomb, which is the same crap we've been hearing for year after year after year after year after year. Same crap we heard about Iraq. They've got nuclear weapons. They're going to kill us in 45 minutes if you don't throw your children onto their bayonets. So now we're seeing these stories where they're saying the Israeli prisoner swap might be a prelude to an attack on Iran. I don't know what one would have with the other, but I mean, it's this kind of linkage that's going on that says this is the back agenda. We're seeing in the Israeli press this constant that we need to prioritize dealing with the threat from Iran. There is no threat from Iran. The threat is from Israel and from the United States. They are the aggressors in these wars. Iran became an Islamic republic in 1979 when they kicked out the U.S. puppet, the Shah. And since that time, they have not invaded or tried to conquer any other countries at all. Not one. Israel has attacked... Well, let's see. Let me go back here. Okay, attacked Iraq in 1981, bombing the power station at Osirik, claiming it was a clandestine weapons laboratory, and of course it turned out it wasn't, because after the invasion of 2003, they went and looked. Said, we'll find evidence of Saddam's nuclear weapon. Oh, there's nothing here. Golly, imagine that. It's just a power station. Our bad. We're sorry, really. So, let's see. 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon, which included the massacres at Sabra and Shatilla. February 2003, Israel staged incursions into Gaza and Nablus. September 2007, Israel bombed Syria, again insisting there was a clandestine weapons laboratory that was never proven. Israel attacked in 2006, another attack on Lebanon, 1,200 people, mostly civilians and some UN observers, and just carpeting the place with landmines on the way out. February 2008, Israel invaded Gaza. Then there was cast lead, the attack on the USS Liberty, so forth and so on. In the same period of time, from 1979 to the present, the same period of time where Iran has not invaded or tried to conquer anybody, not once, the U.S., officially a secular nation but predominantly Christian, has attacked El Salvador, Libya, Sinai, Lebanon, Egypt, Grenada, Honduras, Chad, Persian Gulf, Libya, Bolivia, Iran, Persian Gulf, again, Kuwait, Iran, again, Honduras, Panama, Libya, again, Panama, again, Colombia, Bolivia, and Peru, all at once in 1989, the Philippines, Panama, Liberia, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Zaire, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, it's a huge list. I'm less than halfway through. We're almost at the top of the hour, and I'm going to have to quit. Israel is always attacking and killing and bombing and evading and war criming. The United States has something going everywhere on the planet. They're the threats to world peace, Israel and the United States, not Iran. Who's the danger to world peace? It's Israel, because they're out there saying, oh, they're bad people. You got to go get them. Borrow a lot of money from our bankers and go kill those people for us. We'll be back after the news and commercials.
Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to hour number 2 of our show here. Now, we're talking about this situation where Israel is once again trying to get war with Iran going. And it looks like the plan is Israel will attack Iran and then immediately run behind the United States of America and say, Daddy, they're being mean to me. And the United States will say, that's okay. We have plenty of young American men and women who would have no problem whatsoever dying in horrible bloody deaths to protect mighty Israel. Now, there is one more aspect about this, because at this point, it's going to take a lot. I mean, really a lot to get Americans excited about yet another war on yet another one of Israel's enemies. And you know what's going on here? You remember when you grew up the story about, the damsel in distress and the knight in shining armor? Okay, well, Israel's that damsel in distress, and we, unfortunately, are cast in the role of the knight in shining armor, who will always come to the rescue of the damsel, Israel. The problem with that is that in order for the damsel to constantly get the knight to pay attention to her, she's got to keep coming up with more dragons. And there are some damsels out there, who I will not name, who own dragon ranches where they're breeding, and they're big, and they're ugly, and they're radioactive. And like idiots, we go out there and keep whacking them on the noggin with our swords. Now, a very alarming development, as you know, Israel is trying to grab as much of the West Bank and Gaza as they can ahead of any attempt at the United Nations to declare a Palestinian state. They have just grabbed an area right near Bethlehem and declared it a closed military zone. Complete control who goes in, goes out. Apparently they're going around and they're telling Palestinians, you know, stay in your homes, do not look out the windows. Anybody looking out the window risks getting shot at. So you're thinking about what could Israel do to try and get renewed public support to go and whoop on those bad old Arabs. Well, we're coming up on the Christmas holidays. Why not blow up some of those Christian sites in Bethlehem and say, oh, look what the Arabs have done to you. That might get them going. And so the Christians and the Muslims will have war with each other, and Israel will stand off to one side and say, they fell for it again. They fell for it again, and they went to our banks and they borrowed all the money to kill each other. It doesn't matter which one of them wins, they're all going to be in debt to us for another 1,000 years. My goodness here. All right, we're going to take a phone call here. We're going to go to Dee in Minnesota. Aloha, Dee. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Aloha, Mike. A lot of stuff. For starters, Libya.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Alex Jones had a video today of little 3-year-old that had gotten shot, and it was horrifying. It was when I heard about it though, and I went and saw it. It was like I saw that site on your website 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going on in Gaza. It's been going on in Lebanon. It's been going on in Panama and everywhere else.
Yes. The United States likes to kill kids. You know,
he's
what kind
got a point, though.
What is?
He's got a point, though. I mean, we all need to wake up, and it's sad because even the Arabs think that Libya was getting freedom. They're not. Libya's stuffed.
Oh, yeah, Libya's in terrible... I mean, this is the weird thing. The American people have been told for the last decade about this evil Al-Qaeda and how horrible and terrible they are. And, you know, we've got these actors like Adam Perlman and Joseph Cohen and Zachary Chesser, and they're stealing these towels from Holiday Inn, and they're wrapping them around their head, and they're going, I'm Al-Qaeda, be afraid of me. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of Libya, the United States is backing what we are told is an Al-Qaeda offshoot, and they're now in power declaring Sharia law and no compound interest on loans and all this other stuff. Do you remember the book 1984 by George Orwell? And right in the middle of it...
I've never read it.
Okay, well, you need to read it. That's your homework assignment for everybody listening to this show is get 1984 and read it. Because right in the middle, the government changes alliances. And instead of being at war with Oceania, they're now at war with East Asia. And they change sides. The way Italy...
Mike, could you do me a favor?
What?
You know that military enlistment document you had?
Yeah.
You want to put that up there? Because I want to ask my husband and every other Arab who thought this was cute. You think it's cute? Here's the picture of what they do. Here's the form. Think it's cute? Go and join it. You want to volunteer? Here you go. All
right, I'll put it up there. I'll put it up at the front page of what really happened. But let me finish my story about 1984. In the middle of the story, the government our protagonist is living in and working for changes sides in this ongoing permanent war, the way Italy did in the middle of World War II. And they don't want to tell the people, yeah, we just decided to change the other side just for the heck of it. And so, like, overnight, all the signs change, the name of the country changes, and, you know, there's this thing about, of course we're at war with East Asia. We've always been at war with East Asia. Oceania is our friend. And that's exactly what just happened. They just did that 1984 thing on the American people. We have been told that we have to surrender our taxes and the lives of our children in this war against Al-Qaeda. And all of a sudden in Libya, we find out it was really a war on the gold dinar and government-issued currency because our ally in the war against the gold dinar was Al-Qaeda. Oh, no, Al-Qaeda's our friend. We've always been at war against the gold dinar. Al-Qaeda's our friend. And they pulled a 1984 on us, and nobody seems to realize that's what happened. So
yeah, and there is going to be no freedom.
Of course not. There never is.
And for anybody who thinks that was cute,
in every
whoever thought that was cute should go in there and be the ones. It was like the Occupy protest. Somebody was going around banging on about, oh, humans are bad. We should all kill ourselves and get rid of ourselves for the environment. I looked at the guy and I said, you volunteering?
Yeah, well, actually, no, what you're looking at is one of the people who gets paid to go in there and say goofy things so the media can say, we don't know what they want, but they're just silly as all get out. It's paid provocateurs here. But basically, to wrap up my point about this whole situation is, the U.S. government literally just pulled a 1984 on all of us. We've been filled full of all this propaganda about how Al-Qaeda is bad and they're evil and they will seek to kill us. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves, we have supported this Al-Qaeda group because they were going to help us get Gaddafi, who was the real villain, because he wanted a value-based currency, and he wanted a state-issued currency, a government-issued currency, just like the system the United States started with. Remember, when the United States began as a nation, we didn't have private central banks. We had a government-issued currency that was based on originally gold, then silver. That was the monetary system, and that's what Gaddafi wanted to do, and that's what made him an enemy of the Federal Reserve. And anybody who's an enemy of the Federal Reserve gets killed. And then we'll put the president of the Chase Manhattan Bank on the Warren Commission, and everybody will think some lone nut, loser CIA agent down in Dallas, Texas was behind it all, if we can't blame Cuba. So, it's just completely out of control when you finally come to understand the extent to which the government lies to you. And I'm still dealing with people. I got a local TV producer that I've had this ongoing email debate, and the guy's just totally in denial. He's still plugged into the... And I began to realize I'm starting to feel like I'm Morpheus and this guy is Neo, and I'm trying to explain to him the world he thinks he's been living in is only an illusion on that TV screen he's enslaved to. But he's not ready to be unplugged, and I'm quitting wasting my time on that. But yeah, it's just absurd. They just say whatever they need to say at the moment to get you to throw your lives and your children and your money at the designated enemy. And take a close look. The nations we're attacking are all the nations that don't want to live under a private central bank because they've seen what it did to the United States and to Europe. And yet we're forcing that very destructive, predatory banking system on the rest of the world at the point of a bayonet. And they don't like it, and I don't blame them.
Pretty much.
Okay? All right.
Pretty much. What's your take on Syria and Iran? Do you think they're actually going to be stupid enough to go into either one of them?
Oh, yeah, because, the country that's saying attack, attack, attack isn't the one that has to pay for the butcher's bill. That's the danger. You've got Israel calling the shots and Americans paying the price. Yeah, of course Israel's going to order the war. Why wouldn't they? What have they got to lose?
How soon do you think it'll happen?
I'm watching my stopwatch right now. They're going to have to move fast on all of this stuff. Okay, we're basically just after the dark of the moon, and we've now got these winter storms that are starting to show up. So they're going to have to move really, really fast on this stuff, unless we can scare them out of it. All right, we got to let you go. Thanks a lot, Dee. We're going to take a break for commercials. We'll be right back.
Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show. Here, just a quick note story that one of our readers put up at whatreallyhappened.com. You probably all remember during the Egyptian Revolution when the Egyptian authorities were tear gassing and beating protesters and shooting them with beanbags and all the rest of that stuff, how the American media howled with outrage and how Obama said, this cannot be allowed to stand. This is people striving for democracy. Well, now we've got the same thing happening in the streets of America. And we're now getting word that the United States Government Department of Justice is taking a look at the situation, and frankly, they think the cops are operating within appropriate guidelines, which I guess is true if the guidelines are fire into protesters without warning and without provocation. Then they're obeying the orders, and of course nothing will happen to them. But it is interesting to see that double standard. When it was happening in other countries, when it was the Arab Spring, the media was saying, yes, get those dictators. Let's support those people against those tyrannical governments they're enslaved to. And remember, the wealth inequality in this country is already far greater than it was in Egypt at the time of their revolution. But now that it's happening here, the media is, they're a bunch of sillies. They smell. They don't even have toilets over there. They're just a bunch of ninnies over there. Don't pay any attention to them. We have Michael Jackson's doctor. We have another dead rock star, dead of a drug overdose. Isn't this important? This is much more important than a revolution in the streets of America. Pay no attention to those millions of Occupy people. They have nothing worth saying to you at all. And now for a fashion show. All right.